Hey guys, Chiseled Face Midnight Stag Soap, Nacet Blade, finally completed down here. My ticking off of the 180th shave on the last one. So we're starting a new decade with 181. Been soaking my boar brush here, Zenith B2. It's a 26 millimeter brush. And lather bowl from Roger Quintero 3D printable. Link is on the in the description if you want to print your own. Timeless, as I've been using all month. 68 is the gap, and of course it's the open comb, and it's got my Nacet blade in it. We'll show you once before we get started. And the aftershave is Midnight Stag as well. Get my face wet. Gonna try, I think we tried a 15-second load yesterday. Why not try a 10-second? I ended up with extra lather, so why not? The soap has been, not the soap. Brush has been soaking for a few minutes as I have been prepping gear, so it's ready to go. Chiseled Face Midnight Stag. Leather, gasoline, smoke, wood. It's nice. Shaking out most of the water. And so a 10-second load. There we go. It's not going to take very long. Just medium pressure, maybe medium light. And that might be all we need to, and there we go. This is not a really stiff bore brush like an Omega or something. This one's really soft, actually. So I was really surprised when a 15-second load yesterday gave me enough lather for 3 passes plus 2 or 3 more. Just curious what the lather looks like when it's this early. It's got more of a sheen and a creaminess in appearance. A nice little dense appearance. Later on, as we hydrate it, it's gonna have some micro air bubbles in it that sometimes make it seem like it's a little too dry. But in my experience, it's not. It's probably too dry right now. But in appearance, this looks like a nice dense lather. And that's because it's too dense. Very cool. So this is what we can whip up with just 10 seconds and a little bit of water in the brush. Let me bring this down so you can kind of see it, because this is kind of, I mean, there's still more in the bowl, but look at all that. Get my syringe. I think I added 3.5 teaspoons of water the other day. Let's just start with 1.5 because I think I'll need that much. After this, maybe I'll start face lathering. I'd started out with a little bit of Marco, you know, as you may have seen, but And that's where you start with a sopping wet brush, about as much water as it can handle. And then gently load the soap from the puck with just the tips of the brush for, 80 swirls, something like that. And then go at your face, and then the two ingredients in your brush will combine. And I found that to be simple. Worked well with this boar brush. However, it gave me a lather that was a little too intense. Needed more hydration. And so the first couple of passes on your face would not be as slick as they could be. Felt a little pasty toward the end. Just needed more water. For you to have enough lather on your third pass with that kind of face lathering style, for you to have enough lather on your third, you'd have to start out with too much on your first, basically. And while it is nice and simple, sometimes it might be a good way to go for some people, I prefer having a good lather all the way through. Bring it all down here. Big old blob. A little bit of a stretch there as it dropped. Kind of collapsed. It kind of collapsed a little bit once it hit. Didn't really support its own weight too well. And so that probably means it's about where I might like it. I really have been enjoying this brush this month. I thought I would, which is why I chose it. Holds a lot of lather. But the face feel is terrific. Really soft tips. No scritch or scratch on this guy at all. Easy display, but enough backbone to give you a nice massagey feel. All right, so 2 tablespoons are in there, 10 seconds, and 2 tablespoons of water. And that's plenty of lather. Wow. Now, I was thinking today, with the videos that I do, so many times I switch soaps around, and I don't use consecutive soaps. And that can definitely have an effect on load time, because this guy's still going to have a little bit of moisture left over from today. And so even if I have been leaving them vented a little bit, and that can, and other hard soaps, that's a pretty common issue. Williams, Mitchell's wool fat, those are, it's easier to load those if you use them every day. And if you don't, they really dry out. Now, that's not a problem for me. I just soak it. For several minutes, and then it kind of brings it back, But that's something to think about. All right, now the lather's ready. I'm gonna throw some water on my face. I don't know. I think maybe 24 hours since my last shave, roughly. Nice, soft. I wouldn't be unhappy if I were to discover that this brush is my only brush for the rest of my life. I really wouldn't. It's soft. It can stir up a lather off anything. And this looks like a really good for this base. For this base, it seems like I should tolerate just a little bit of clumping here. Usually, I want it wet enough to where I don't get any clumping when I kind of do this type of swipe. So this looks really good. The blade. Okay, so my timeless 68 open comb handles this blade, this old blade, really well. You don't often hear about somebody getting 180 shaves out of a blade. And here's the X that I started out with the end of July last year. Of course, I haven't shaved consecutively with it since then. But anyway, well, you want proof that I didn't switch the blade out just now? I'm no magician. I'm not going to do some kind of thing like that. But you know, I don't mind taking an extra second to dispel the doubters and that sort of thing. All right, so now it's wet, and we're ready to go. Actually, why did I start out cross grain like that? I don't know. Do with the grain for now. So even if this lather is kind of airy looking and a little bit thin in one sense, when you're squeezing it together to try to get the cushion, you know, what it does, and this is probably why this company has been so successful. Number one, I think their scent choices are just on the money and different than what a lot of companies are bringing to the table. But this base does its job of laying down and bonding a thin layer of the lather, a thin layer of itself to your skin. And the rest may be poofy on top, but as long as it's got that thin layer that you can feel with your fingers and it won't go away, it doesn't rub away, then it's doing its job. All right, a little half rinse. Nice cutting. Took a good bit of hair off with just that first pass. Get a little bit more lather. Switch to painting motions. Spread it evenly. And cross grain now on my face. Comfortable. Even the first pass, very little tugging, just nothing to be concerned with at all. This particular razor head is working with this old blade really nicely to bring a lot of comfort. Some of the other razors that I've used with this have been my more aggressive ones. And it's fun to use the older blades in aggressive razors that I usually can't use with younger blades in them, like this one. This one I found too irritating. I could shave with it, but I didn't really want to shave in subsequent days with it. Half rinse. And when I was getting maybe 165 shaves, 160 shaves, the Sheraton that I was using, which isn't an aggressive razor for me, I can shave with it at any stage, but it was starting to leave more bristles, more stubble after that first pass of shaving. Now it was still giving me good shaves because, you know, I did 2 more passes. And It's just that there was a little bit left over, more left over after that first one than usual. I mean, we're still talking about a crazy amount of shaves, right? But now this one does a great job. Scent strength, still about 6 out of 10. This awesome soap. And there we go. And I mean, 10 seconds. And I've probably got 2 more passes here. I mean, that's just nuts. This is probably as much as I don't think I'd want to go less than 10 seconds, probably. And look at this consistency. That's where I like it. A little bit of stretch before it fell. Very wet. There are other soaps like Sterling and Fine that can get wetter, and I enjoy their slickness a little better, but this is a good one, and there's nothing like a good chiseled face scent. I like so many of theirs. Sherlock, Ghost Town Barber, Midnight Stag are just some of my favorites. The Civet, you know, with their collaboration from Zoologist is terrific. Yeah, just great. Oh, and the Rhino. Oh, Rhino was so good. All right, last pass. This time, instead of a normal 90-degree angle, according to hair growth, I'm going to tweak it up a little bit. So I get a little bit of a slicing, slant type action, and it puts a very slight against the grain aspect to that run. Yesterday's shave, my nose felt a little sneezy during one of my lather runs. I wonder if this scent is causing that. Now at the end of this pass here, I'm kind of doing another slide in one direction. I'm about to do a touch-up pass with this. What was I doing? I was doing that. I need to do that right there. You got to be careful with the slide because you're starting to get close to moving the razor this way across your skin instead of. Of course, this is a 90-degree angle, but when you have it tilted like this, you're starting to get closer to something like this, which is going to cut your skin. It's the thing you want to avoid. Again, up here, I'll do that slight upward, and so then I'll get a really close cut. From this up here. I feel something over there. What am I feeling? I don't know. Face feels excellent. I don't feel any irritation. Some people say they feel tugging and stuff on their 7th use or 10th use or something like that, and they may, but they also just may feel it dropping from that premium sharpness that comes right in the very beginning. Just a little bit of a drop in quality, and they perceive that as tugging, and what they really need to do is, or can do if they choose, is press on a little further, and you get used to that slight dip, because that slight dip will last you for 40 shaves sometimes, and you'll still get great shaves. And then all of a sudden, those expensive blades that you really like that don't buy that often, because if you only get 3 shaves out of them, then, or 1 shave, then they're expensive. All of a sudden, those become as cheap as anything out there. So it's kind of cool. Face feels tremendous. Let's give it a good rinse. Oh, but anyway, the point I was trying to make just now is that if you push past that introductory less than 10 count shaves, in many cases you get into a smooth place where that edge is dulled a little bit, and so now you're getting great cutting action with lack of irritation. The tiny stuff on the edge of the blade is not there to rough your skin up anymore, and so you can you've got a good deal of comfort ahead of you. Not always. I mean, I think there are some guys out there who really maybe their hair is just nuts, and they I don't know if they always need to do a pre-shave. I don't. I just throw some water on there. But you know, they may need to use short blade life, but a lot of guys, especially average hair type guys, you can go a lot further than what the recommended average is. It's just kind of one of those things that's been passed around, but many people can go further than they do. All right, so what kind of result do we have now that we've rinsed? Dang, that's good. And I didn't even do a touch-up. See? Okay, so that's good to know, because what I had been doing was this is my trouble spot right here. What I had been doing was just on my third pass, I'd start with a pretty straightforward motion like this, 90-degree movement, not really doing any kind of slant. And then I would do a touch-up or something where I would come back, do this movement, and then maybe slant it up just a little bit to catch a little bit of against the grain, and do that slide or slant type movement just very carefully from the bottom angle. Now today I did that slide slant type motion from the top by, here's 90 degrees, switch it to maybe 45 by doing something like this, and highly successful and more comfortable. I didn't get quite as much catch on some of the blades, on some of the hairs and areas. So winner chicken dinner. It's always good when you can get an efficient stroke in a trouble area with comfort instead of just a little bit of bother. So I'm fine. Let's throw on some aftershave. As always, I'll tell you that this is an alcohol based. It's got the scent in it as well, but cool things like witch hazel, aloe, calendula, and vitamin B5. And so I'm glad they put some skin goodies in there as well as the scent. And no stinging. I mean, tiny bits in a couple of places, but it's very minimal, almost none. So that means my style and technique was good. Nice. All right, and I believe I kind of showed you how much lather I had left over. You know, plenty to do the job if I needed another pass. So 10 seconds seems about right. And if I haven't come back to a chiseled face puck in a while, maybe bump it up a little bit, 15 or 20. But wow, it just, my normal approach is to come at about 30 seconds of load time, and don't need it for this one, especially with it being used every day. While my aftershave kind of sinks in, and yeah, I'm getting that menthol kick that I don't really like too much. That's an important thing to notice. It was a gotcha for me when I placed my first online order for a balm. At the time, Reef Point Soaps was still in business, and I think it was David James Shaving at the time had a good sale on some of the Reef Point products and the balms, and Aviator and Submariner and Admirals or something, Admiralty were there on his site, and so they looked awesome, and I didn't have very many balms at the time, and so I ordered 3 of them. I got them, and all of them had menthol. I love the scents, but sometimes menthol will get in the way of the scent for a good 15 to 20 minutes. And I didn't like that too much, in addition to the burn feel. Well, I was able to sell off on the used market those balms, and pretty easily, so that worked out. And I learned my lesson. Soap Commander as well, all of theirs have menthol in them except for one, which is called Integrity, and you have to look for the Integrity menthol free. So that's an important ingredient to pay attention to. Now, most people don't mind it at all. Most people like it, which is why it's in so many things. But if you're like me, don't like menthol, then that is something you need to pay attention to. I'm gonna make a separate video after this one, kind of showing this new soap I got in. But I'll give you a little preview right now. Fit Jar, and I assume Fit Jar Islands. I assume that, I mean, I'm pronouncing that right. It's from over in Norway, I think, and because Norwegian kronas is what they're, fitjarislands.no is their deal. This is the wooden bowl that you get with it. And so watch for the separate video. The soap puck comes in here. They come shipped separately like this. So if you're interested in just kind of seeing what it looks like, because it's definitely kind of exotic. I've definitely seen it on other forums. It's a hard soap, and I've seen some people beef about it, maybe as being hard to lather or something, but I'm going to give it a shot. But they had a sale where it was free shipping, so I decided to jump on that. This one's Slatteroy. I could be butchering that pronunciation because the A has some dots on it, and or a caret, and the O has a little slash through it. So, you know, I'm sorry if I'm messing that up. Anyway, I'll do that. I'll do another video separately after this one if you're interested in that. Excited to try a new brand, and it's one that there are definitely some fans of online. So looking forward to trying that guy out. All right, so there we go. How much water did we use? Pretty much the whole 2 teaspoons. And so it looks like if I want to do kind of my lather, then a 10-second load this month is all I'm going to need to do. And it's a very economical use of soap as well. Enjoying this brush. It's the edges are starting to expand just a little bit more. I am not the original owner, and so the previous owner did use it enough or use a break-in method that did cause the tips to split. So it's been a comfortable brush for me since day one. So very nice, very happy to have it. Okay, now we will take care of the blade and the razor. It's stainless steel, the razor, and so all I'm going to do is a water rinse through it. I loosened up the head so we could get some good airflow as it sits on the counter. I like to shake it, but I keep it safe by holding my thumb this way. That way it doesn't twist on me. And now I'll just put it away carefully, out of reach of children. All right, anything else? I think we're good. So shave 181. A nice one. Smooth, comfortable, and a nice cut. Oh yeah, almost baby butt smooth on my cheeks. So very good. And whatever I felt over here turns out to be nothing. So we're good. All right. Hope there was something here for you. Maybe tomorrow start face lathering, kind of in a more conventional way. I tried the Marco and it was all right. Maybe try my wet method. Face lathering from there, see what we can do, see what we can learn. It's a good method. A lot of people do it. It's simple. You don't need a bowl. But you know what I find I really like a bowl for? I like a bowl for having lather. But at the end of the shave, I use it to clean out my brush, and I have it tilted so that water can flow into the bowl and then out and give me a good supply of fresh clean water so I can just clean the brush, because I'm not about to use my sink, because my little boy, who knows what he's done in this sink, and it takes a while if I try to do it just by I don't like to squeeze my brushes, you know. That's one way to do it, is to let it fill with water and then just kind of gently squeeze it out, but I don't really like to do that. And so it can take a while to clean your brush out using a non-submerged method, but because of my bowl, I can do a submerged method. All right, well, there we go. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Tune in a little bit for the Slatteroy unboxing video if you're curious, and we'll see you next time. Take care.